What is going on, guys? It is Gage again from Indoor Inverts. Couple quick little notes before we get into our main video. I have made some merch. It's not for sale yet because this was just kind of like, a sample. And also I am broke, so I'm trying to get that figured out right now. But I also have some stickers with the same logo design here too. So pretty excited about that. And also, the main point of today's video is it is the Show Me Snake show again today. So I'm about to go over there, look at some stuff, at least get some feeder roaches, and maybe get something exciting. So let's go on over and see what we can find, shall we? Alright guys, so we are back from the Reptile Expo. I want to show you guys what we picked up, some super exciting stuff. First off, the more obvious, I already told you about this, but at least once a year I like to get some new roaches, especially on my feeder colonies, just to keep them from getting inbred and all Habsburg jaw-y. So I got 100 dubia roaches and 100 red runner roaches, and they're going to go into their respective colonies. And then here's the rest of the stuff I got. I would like to show you guys once I get the enclosure set up a little more, but as you can see, we got a couple things and some plants. So stay tuned and we'll go into what all we got. Okay guys, we have all of our enclosures set up, and we're ready to start with our 4 new additions. So firstly, we have a Hapolopus species Colombia Large, or a pumpkin patch tarantula. This guy is super tiny. Let's see if he'll even focus on the screen. I don't want him to get away. I have a couple catch cups ready, but you guys know how that goes. So there's that guy right there. Let's see him moving. We'll try to get another good zoom shot of him with some focus. So there's that little guy right there. It was Halloween, so I figured, perfect time to get one of these guys. These are actually a dwarf species of tarantula, so they don't get very big, only about 3 or 4 inches or so. But they're super neat. They have super cool patternage, and we're gonna go ahead and get this guy set in his little sauce cup here because he's so tiny. Oh, here we'll come from this side. Oh, he jumped right in. And we'll see if we can get see him right there. So that was the first one down. Go ahead and put him in his cup to the side. Zoom back out, and we'll take his transfer cup to the side as well. Next, super excited to have a second chance of these guys. I got a pair of Hottentotta again. I don't know what happened to those 3 that I had like when I made that video I mentioned. They just kind of passed away. But this time, I believe these are adults. But if not, they're definitely subadults at the very least. So here is one of the 2. Super thick female, might already be gravid. Really excited to have these guys again, especially because I'm scorpionless at the moment. So for these guys, I have 2 little temporary tubs set up as well. Real simple, just some soil, sand, and bark mixed in for the substrate. I got a fake leaf in here, a patch of moss, and a little piece of cork bark for the scorpions to hang out in. These guys are going to be super easy to transfer. You just kind of, since they can't really climb plastic or glass, kind of, oh, buried it a little bit, but that's okay. There we go. Just kind of guide it into the enclosure. So there is that guy right there, well, girl rather. Super awesome though, super neato dito. All right, one Hottentotta down. All right. And we have our second Hottentotta. Forgot the name of the company that I got these guys from, but I'll put it somewhere in the video or in the description just so you guys know. Super awesome guy. Came kind of late, so he gave me a deal on everything. Here's our second Hottentotta. I'll get it in the light a little better. There we go. This one's actually a little bit thicker than the other girl. Nonetheless, we'll put her in her enclosure. Ooh, this one's a little more lively. Yep, go on in. And that one has been added to its enclosure as well. Grab this lid from the other end of the table. Okay, so 2 Hottentotta. And for our last new addition, I am very excited about this one, guys. This has been my bucket list spider for a super duper long time. Get the enclosure ready here. This would be the Theraposa apophysis, or the Goliath pinkfoot bird eater. This is actually the largest spider in terms of diameter. The blondie is heavier, it has more mass, but these guys actually get a bit bigger. And I'm super excited to see one of these. These guys are kind of a little bit expensive. I've been looking for one of these for a long time. It's an unsexed sling, it's pretty tiny. These guys are super fast, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my deli cup ready for a catch cup. I'm going to slowly take off the deli lid here. Try not to spook the sling too much. But there it is, guys. Hopefully it's a female. Regardless, I am so excited to have a Theraposa apophysis, excuse me. You can see its pink toes right there. It's a little tiny baby, maybe an inch. Probably just shy. It'll be super fun to watch this guy grow on the channel. There are a little bit of difficulties that come with these guys. They like it. Oh, he's coming right for my tongs. They like it very moist. Obviously not swampy, but they need a lot of humidity or else they have a difficulty with their molts. And the Theraposas also have very strong urticating hairs, which is the hairs that they kick when they're threatened. But yeah, super excited to watch this. Oh, I shook the table a little bit and it jumped out. That's okay. see if my gimbal won't go down. There we go. Get some good shots of it while it goes back into its... zoomed way too much there. Sorry, guys. I just got this gimbal like a couple weeks ago, and I'm still learning how to use it. But here, we'll put on the motion tracking on this tarantula and watch it walk around a little bit before it goes into its enclosure. Kind of talk more about these guys. So like I said, they like it very, very humid and very wet. They need it for their molts. These are... Whoa! Again with the zoom. Sorry, guys. This zoom slider, I need to adjust it. But we'll track... Nope, track the spider, bro. There we go. Zoom in. There we go. So Theraposa apophysis grows to be the biggest spider, and in diameter, like 14 inches long, as big as a dinner plate. Super cool. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about him at this point, but I'm just beyond excited to have one. So what I will do now, zoom out, and we will put the spider into its enclosure. There we go. Go ahead and close that up. Alright guys, it's been 3 days since the last video clips on the day of the reptile show. While I've been editing that video and putting it together, I also look at Craigslist Marketplace all the time, and someone's getting rid of 4 species of tarantulas for only $100. They're not super duper high dollar species, but they're worth more than 25 bucks a piece definitely. So after work, I'm gonna run over there and pick them up. Here we are back with our 4 new tarantulas. They're all New World tarantulas. So I guess we'll just hop right into it. First of all, we have our curly hair right here. It's a subadult. Scientific name is Tlitocatl albipilosus, I believe it's pronounced. Here is a closer look at that guy or girl. I have no clue what the sex of any of these are yet. As you can see right there to the left, this spider has buried its water dish, so we're gonna go ahead and attempt to dig that out, at least to the point where we can give the tarantula water. Free open the burrow. Wanted to get some of that out of the way so the substrate doesn't get everywhere. There's that water dish. Let me go ahead and attempt to get that substrate out. Luckily it's dry. There we go. Put that right there. Refill it with some water really fast. I'll go ahead and just spray a little bit in the enclosure. It looks pretty dry. A couple pumps there. You guys don't like it's super wet, but just a little bit. Humidity isn't going to hurt anything at this point. Also, I'll get a soaked up sphagnum moss I'm going to throw in here to help kind of keep that humidity and to just add a little bit of color and texture to the enclosure. I'll throw some back up here. And right here, and let me lower my camera so you guys can get a better view of the actual enclosure on the inside. I'm pretty satisfied with the way this enclosure looks for now. Honestly, the tarantula looked pretty big, so I might shortly be upgrading it to a larger enclosure, but it is pretty nice that I got this little Exoterra and the tarantula in it for only $25. Like I said, all four of these spiders were only $100, so the way I'm divvying it up in my brain is they're gonna be, you know, $25 a spider. So we got that enclosure ready to go. Next up, I will grab this spider. Here we have a little green bottle blue sling, otherwise known as the Chromatopelma. I believe, yeah, that's how it's pronounced, Chromatopelma. Yeah, cyaneopubescens, green bottle blue. Super cool tarantula. These guys are a staple in the hobby. They look super interesting, both in their juvenile forms and adult forms. Their color changes quite a bit. As an adult, they get this green and blue coloration on them, hence why they're called the green bottle blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this guy's enclosure up really fast just so we can get a slightly better shot of him or her. Again, I don't know the sex of any of these tarantulas, and this one's particularly small, so I might not be able to tell. And we'll also spray just a bit of water around. There we go. And I got my tongs here. I'm gonna spread some of this moss around and try not to do too much to the webbing. So these guys are popular in the hobby because their color is really awesome, and also they're notorious webbers. They build really big web castles. So it is really cool to see how much web these guys will ultimately produce and what kind of structures they'll make within the enclosure. I'll try to stuff some of this moss underneath this cork bark. Oh, sorry, buddy. I dropped a piece of moss on him. Luckily, he did not bolt away. So, yeah, just a bit more moss in that back corner. This way, it will help retain a bit more humidity in here. And like I said, I mean, especially with slings, their care can be really simple and their enclosures can be relatively simple, but I always like to add a little bit of different colors and textures in my enclosures, even if it's artificial or dead material. It's just more visually interesting to look at, I think. Oh, here we go. I got the lid on. Let me get the lid right. All right, so that is tarantula number 2. Next on the list, I was also very extremely excited to see and finally get my hands on one of these guys. We have a Brazilian black, or rather a Grammastola pulchra. All right, hopefully this one won't bolt either. It's another sling. So it's still going to be brown. It's not going to have that dark black color that these guys are known for. It's got a super duper fat booty, very thick. But anyway, this tarantula looks like it has a bit of moss already, but I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of the green moss just because. Gotta be careful. I will pan down a little bit so we can get a better view of the tarantula. Does my gimbal not want to scroll down? Let's back up. Fine. All right. So first thing first, I actually have a bit of cork bark to put in here for a little bit of a hide for this guy because he's just kind of hanging out on the top. I mean, he has the opportunity to burrow. Maybe he doesn't really care to hide, but go ahead and give him the opportunity anyway. get some of that moss in here as well. See if we can't gently coax it to go to the other side of the enclosure. That's perfect. Oh, yeah, it bolted. Well, it didn't really bolt, it just kind of walked away. So, oh, there was a piece of cork bark in there too. Alright, get my catch cup ready. You guys should already know, always keep a catch cup with you when you're dealing with any kind of invertebrates, especially tarantulas. Alright. So, there we go. We've got him secured in the catch cup. Or her, they, them, in the catch cup. And while that's in there, we're going to go ahead and finish doing what we were doing in here. I guess I'll just kind of put this cork bark up against the other piece of cork bark, because I also wanted to add a little bottle cap water dish into this enclosure. I always like to do this with my slings and scorplings. I forgot to mention it in the last video, but those other guys that I picked up at the reptile show do also have a little water bottle cap water dish. Little tongue twister there. So I'll go ahead and fill that up. And we'll take a sprinkle of that moss and just put it over here. Just that's the way I'd like it to look. That's how it looks from the top. And let's go ahead and reintroduce RT. I'm scooping him up in the background. I don't know, I'm sure you can't really see too well, but there we go. There we are in the container. And get my little tongs here. And we'll attempt to gently coax the spider back into the enclosure. We'll probably get a good shot of it as well. Boom. So one more gentle tap ought to do it. There we go. And let's go ahead and put our lid back on and secure it. Boom. And here we come to our last species that we picked up. There's actually a funny story behind this. So this is actually why we use scientific names. It's not really a super big deal or anything. I'm still happy to have the spider, but we got a Mexican red rump tarantula, or a Tlitocatl vagans. The funny story about this guy is the seller told me that they had a Mexican red knee, and I was excited to have one of those, but instead of a Mexican red knee, they confused the name for Mexican red rump. Happens a lot. Common names can be like that, but still a very pretty spider. Get a good zoom shot of it. Has some super gorgeous colors, a very red rump. This one was eating, when I picked it up, it was actively eating a mealworm, so I'm really not gonna disturb this one at all because it still might be eating. But as you can see, this is another relatively plain enclosure. So got another piece of scrap cork bark. I'm gonna go ahead and set it in one corner. Little starter burrow and or hide. You know, keep the spider happy. Some moss for this enclosure as well. And go ahead and put some down there. And last but not least, we have another cap water bottle lid for a water dish. I didn't put one with the green bottle blue just because it's so small. It's more than likely just going to drink the water droplets off the sides of the enclosure. But with these terrestrial and larger tarantulas, I definitely feel more comfortable keeping them with a water dish just in case they do end up getting a little bit dry. That way they have an opportunity to at least drink. And then here's how this enclosure is going to look from the top. And yeah, those are the 4 new tarantulas I got this week. So that's going to be 6 tarantulas in total. And as well as those 2 scorpions. So 8 arachnids that I got this week. Pretty exciting stuff, guys. My next video, I'm trying to decide whether I want to do a feeding video or a full tour of my collection and stuff. So if you guys have any ideas on that, go ahead and comment down below what you would prefer to see, whether it be a full tour or a feeding video of probably my inverts and my snake. I mean, I could feed the pets that eat every day, like my bearded dragons and stuff, but I feel like that's not necessarily as interesting to see all the time. But just let me know what you think down in the comments below. Later, guys.